hello. Welcome back to the FPL One Percenters Pod. I'm joined once again on a Thursday evening by Kazim. Kazim, I'm getting used to this, man.
Yeah, I know it's been some time since we spoke, but it looks like I'm the main guest on the show now. Because
Yeah, you're the guy, man. You're the glue that's holding this all together.
Yeah,
It was you and Hammer last week, yeah?
Exactly, yeah, just me and Hammer.
Yeah. Waiting. I think you guys told me there's international break this week, after this week, and I think it's a much needed FPL break, for me at least.
Yeah, just time to recharge, reassess, and sort of plan out the next few weeks, last 8 weeks, I guess.
Yeah, I know it's getting closer and closer. Quickly before we jump into things, as always, we are brought to you by Footsapp, a fantastic app. Lockdown in the UK you can play football outdoors in the UK from like the end of March. So check this out. Links are in the bio. Really exciting app. Takes the WhatsApp admin out of your football sessions. And after that, we jump into this game week gone. Kazim, it was shambolic for me, to be honest, and it was shambolic for most. I think like the average was quite low, and I was just above average, if I'm not mistaken. Cancelo was my highest scorer and my only double digits, I think. What about yourself?
Yeah, I got to 55, which was a little bit above average. I was hoping it would be a bit more because I started off with Cancelo and Stones, so it was starting off well. I had Watkins, even Calvert-Lewin got a goal. And then I guess the two big captains flopped, right? Kane and Bruno. And then I had Salah on the last day, and I was hoping I would get a big return, but obviously not.
Yeah, Salah's. Yeah, that's true, to be fair. The defenders scored big. Like, to be fair, you had big hitters then, and 55 was very respectable considering average was like 43. From what I'm saying, I got like 39 points. So it was just very painful all round.
Yeah, I was happy in the end just because the transfer I was planning on doing to bring in Kane would have hurt me a lot because I would have taken out Cancelo potentially. So in the end, I was okay with how it turned out. I mean, I'm pretty far behind right now, but yeah, just having fun with it at the moment.
Yeah, I know. Let's take a minute to talk about it. It's been a difficult season, to say the least. Like the last few seasons have been good for us, and we've been quite active, and just generally like it's always up and down. But this season is more down than up, to be honest. And we were looking at back at it, and we were talking about it offline and sort of the lessons learned or like your thoughts around why. Like the COVID rotation, I think, is something that definitely needed to adapt to this season and like maybe make moves quicker or not look as far ahead in the future. I don't know what it is, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a combination of the two. I mean, I think this year, normally, to be honest, my strategy is like I don't make quick transfers, but I do make them like I try not to overthink it at times. But this year, because of the COVID, it was always in the back of your mind that, okay, could get canceled. Let's look 3 weeks in advance. So it somewhat hurt me in the sense that that's not my normal style. I guess managing or playing FPL. So sort of had to make a blend of the two. And then, with all the rotation, the fixture pile up, it was just a bit.
Yeah. Do you think Pep Roulette has been more vicious than ever this season?
It has been vicious, but
in the last few weeks, though, right? It's not to start off with too much.
Yeah, it has, but it hasn't. To be honest, like that's not the big of my concerns. Like when these guys have played, for the most part, they've performed and getting you the points. I know there's the odd week where someone has Stones, someone else has Diaz, and you get sort of burnt. But I think if you look at the long term, like the last 5 weeks, or even longer, like 10 weeks, you're going to see a similar point totals from your big hitters, like from City. So that for me, like one odd week here and there hurt, but for long-term planning, it didn't really affect me too much. It was more just, like, there's times where I'm planning out 5-6 weeks in advance and then something changes, schedule change, injury, and then that's what was the point of planning, right? So those were the bigger L's I took versus this roulette because,
I think mine was twofold. It was game week 18 when which was the blank, which we talked about, the previous blank before this one. It wasn't as big a blank, but it was a blank. And I played my free hit really late, and the upside on that free hit wasn't really that useful, whereas it would come in handy, quite handy now. And then in 19, I wasn't holding John Stones, who had planned to hold for so long, but they then had double, and they played in 18 as well. And I remember that was quite painful at the time, and that just threw me down the ranks as well. So it's been it's been quite painful. But it is one of those weeks when none of the attackers performed, and it was just all round a week that we can just generally hate on FPL until we have another good week, and then we're all in love with FPL again. So it's been a bit up and down.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, it's been a bit all over the place. Generally, I always start slow, but it looks like this year I just kept that trend and didn't really pick up pace. And I'm hoping I can, with my 4 chips I think I have, with 8 weeks or 9 weeks left, it'll be a bit more fun for me, I guess.
I guess there's not much point in holding players anymore, because like you can't hold them for too long anyway. There's only 8 weeks left.
Exactly. Yeah. So you just go with sort of the player and go with that. Don't always try to wait. Oh, he's gonna hit form. He's gonna hit form. There's like 8 weeks left. So you might as well just take a punt and go with that.
Let me just say though about this last week, Spurs and Harry Kane was quite unlucky, poor guy. And I was really backing him.
Yeah, off the post, I think. And
off the post, and had a couple of chances as well. Had a cross in for Dele Alli as well. So it was fine margins for him. Bruno less so. United a bit uninspiring.
Yeah, Bruno's been on, like, I know he's been getting the FPL points here and there, but he has, like, from an eye test perspective, he doesn't look the best in terms of his
maybe like his whole and his whole like persona, like when he's doing well, it's great, but when things are not going well, maybe from an eye test perspective, you'll see him getting really annoyed and really vexed, and you'll be like, wow, he's not really on it, and he's having a bad game, and his attitude doesn't reflect as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that was the big thing last couple of weeks was, do you drop Bruno or Salah? And a lot of people went the Salah route, or drop Salah just because out of form, 4 goals in 14 games.
Either would have been fine though in the end,
What was that, sorry?
Either would have been fine in the end because they're both been as terrible as each other.
I'm still leaning more towards Salah in terms of dropping him over Bruno, just because of the penalties. Obviously, I know Salah's on them too, but seems like
United get more. You're still on this.
Conspiracy.
Fair. No, that's. But Salah, you know what? I'm thinking about Jota because Liverpool have a great run after game week 30-31, and for anyone who wants to check it out, please have a look at the run they have. They have some really great games. We'll come to it. I think one of the slides we have. It's kind of a condensed show. Kazim and I are just gonna sort of have a bit of a rant about FPL as we have, and then look at this last week, look at a bit of a draft for the free hit, and then look ahead to the fixtures. Right. So just so that we give everyone some perspective.
Sounds good, yeah.
But one thing that we didn't talk about was Leicester. And for me, it went under the radar. I didn't catch the game. And then after I saw the score quite late on, and it was still I don't know, they scored 5 goals?
5 goals. And then Vardy got 3 or 4 assists, I think. I think he got 3 in the end. So yeah, crazy. Like very high scoring. I think it was just Sheffield
the one game that
manager.
Yeah. Bless them. It went under the radar though, the fact that they lost their manager, right? As well.
Yeah, the news came out fairly late. But I guess now that's sort of the beta boys are Sheffield is sort of targeting. At least that's my strategy. It's targeting
Sheffield and West Brom,
the team that plays them.
Yeah, fair enough. Free hit draft. Tell me about it, man. There's 4 games, so not much to choose from. You're gonna have players playing each other as well. I was seeing people who are going to triple up on Brighton because they play Newcastle or woeful in front of goal. Double up is not a bad shout at all.
Yeah, so I mean, you can sort of interject here, but my sort of strategy here is if let's say we go fixture by fixture, so like Fulham versus Leeds, I think it's safe to say, okay, Bamford probably will be fit, but it's a good week to maybe take a punt on just because he is highly owned, and then he may not be, at that same level of fitness. So the thought process was to bring in Rafinha or Dallas, and then from a Fulham perspective, they are good defensively, so there's a possibility they could get a clean sheet. So that's why I sort of brought in Anderson.
Nice.
I know they have a lot of other options like Aina and the other guy Adebarai something.
Yeah,
That guy, the center back. And then so I think that is sort of a harder fixture to predict. And most likely, I think, will be low scoring.
Because Fulham are so well organized as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well organized. They seem to be in a good run of form. Don't really concede. It's just hard to predict who's going to score. I did put Maja in there as well, just as a punt, because he does look fairly attacking. And Lookman just seems very like he gets in the right places, but then the final third decision, he doesn't always make the right decision. So just like the look of Maja, he's fairly lowly owned. And that was sort of my strategy for that fixture.
Nice.
Brighton, Newcastle, I think I mean, Newcastle, although they did score in Villa, it was like I think it was a set piece corner.
I'm so happy though. Honestly. As a non-Martinez owner, I was so gassed that he conceded. Because I just banked it. They scored as well, and I was like, oh man, this guy's gonna get bonus, and also it's 9 points here on the cards again. It's my own fault for not owning him all this time. But yeah.
Yeah, that was like a 15-point swing. Guys were at target, like bonus points there, and obviously the clean sheet. But yeah, I mean, I don't see much upside given they have been playing a little bit better in Newcastle. But the best I see for them is maybe a 0-0 or a 1-0.
Low scoring would be nice. Yeah.
And then with Dunk, he has been fairly getting a lot of shots in the box as well. So from an attack perspective, he has some upside there. And then
he scored last week, did he score last week or the week before? Sorry. And he scored one recently. He scored, and then the week before he had that free kick disallowed as well.
Yeah, exactly, that weird call that the ref made with the whistle blowing or something. So he's been on a fairly good run of form. He gets shots in the box. They did have an injury to Burn, so that may affect it potentially if he has to sit back a bit more. And Veltman sort of is going to be the new center back there. So that may swing it a bit, but from a clean sheet perspective, I think there's good upside for both Sanchez and Dunk. And then Trossard seems to be, even the beginning of the season, he was.
Yeah, he was. I was just going to say massive at the beginning of the season, right?
Yeah, massive, exactly. And then his, I guess Mope is also an option there, but with Trossard, you're just going to get a bit more.
What about
a bit more action from the midfield.
Welbeck's a shot as well, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I haven't really been tracking if he's been starting. Has he been starting the last few games?
No, I haven't actually. Similarly, haven't really seen whether he's been starting much, but I just saw him pop up on the app actually, and I thought that there was a point in the middle of the season where if you caught him on the swing, he scored 3 in 4 games or something like that. Then got injured again.
Yeah,
and then went out of favor as well at some point. So he's been in and out of the squad, but it'd be a bit of a punt.
Yeah, a bit of a rotation risk, I would say. So I'd rather go with something more solid, especially with the striker options you have. I don't see Brighton to be an explosive, like they create a lot of chances, but I don't see them they just don't finish them, which is why I'm really more concerned or really attacking their defensive assets.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. So out of who would you bench? Like now that we've spoken about 2 games, let's say in your front line between Watkins, Maja, and Kane. It's difficult, right? Or would you play all 3 and bench someone in the midfield? Like it's weird to think. Sorry to interrupt them in the middle of you've not got through the fixtures yet, but what do you think?
No, I think I would go 3-4-3. Okay. Just given like attack wise, like I think I'd probably bench Trossard. Go Bale, Lingard, Aubameyang, Rafinha.
Nice.
Watkins, Maja, Kane, and then Dallas. This is a tough one.
It's
Dallas,
tough, isn't it? It's tough because
probably Dunk, maybe Tierney, but yeah.
Would you let's say you're banking, would you not rather just put your eggs in one basket and be like, you know what, if you're going to bench Trossard, why not go like Sanchez, Dunk, and Veltman, and then be like, Hail Mary, price and clean sheet, hit and hope. That's another way to potentially look at it as well.
Yeah, that's a good strategy.
It's the most like for me, I don't know, I see it as the most bankable clean sheet of all of these 4 games.
Yeah, no, that's definitely the fixture that defensively, maybe Fulham too, but for the most part, Brighton is the fixture everyone's targeting for clean sheets. It would be a good strategy, and it's only for the week, right? So why not play it?
Exactly.
I don't know. I like
Cresswell's a great start, right?
Cresswell is good, but like I said, for the one fixture, it's probably a good idea to like a different strategy. Just bank it on one team because then you can sort of spread sort of focus your points on one area.
Yeah, or focus your heartbreak on one game. So then I'm not giving anyone any advice because I probably won't triple up on and listen by a league position. Don't listen to what we say and then make your own decisions, please, which I hope you all have been doing for the last 28 game weeks. But West Ham Arsenal, what do you reckon?
Yeah, once again, like I said, these fixtures are hard to.
None of them look like really like you can say that high scoring or low score. Like they're all really look like they could be cagey as well, depending on who scores first.
Yeah, and that's part of my logic of ideally I don't want to take a free hit, and I'm not taking a free hit. But I know
even though you're one of the few you're one of the few who didn't use it in 18, you still have it, but you're holding.
Yeah, exactly. And the reason is okay, if you can get out 8 players, 8 to 9 ideally, but even if you can get 8 players out, I wouldn't try to do a free hit. There's going to be better opportunities coming up, hopefully, with potential double game weeks, or even game week 33, I believe, has City and Tottenham not playing. So, and the fixtures are a bit better there. There's 8 fixtures, obviously, so you have a bit more flexibility. But yeah, with West Ham Arsenal, that's a bit hard to predict once again. West Ham definitely defensively, they're playing well. Arsenal coming off a high against Spurs, so they may be up for it. It's a London derby as well, so there could be upside there. And that's why I went with Aubameyang. Obviously, he was benched last game, so he may have a point to prove that game. But at the same time, I can see Lingard getting that extra bit of rest. He may also be there. So, yeah, I'm hoping there's goals. But, yeah, this is one of those fixtures where it's hard to really predict what could happen. It could be very cagey, but also could open up a bit. And
it's weird because West Ham are in a much better position than Arsenal, which is quite it's Arsenal that have not much to play for at this point of the season, and West Ham kind of are playing for Europe, so it's a bit of a weird one.
Yeah,
Villa Spurs again, KG, Mourinho, they went out of. You don't know which Spurs you're going to get, right? But you do need to cover yourself. Kane's looking too good to not own, and because there's so few games, maybe Bale.
Yeah, Bale sort of with Son, but most likely 90% out. Bale just seems like the safer option from that standpoint, rather than bringing in Son. Yeah, the only risk you run with Bale is obviously could come off 57th minute, 58th minute, and you just get the 2 or 1 point. But yeah, I think Kane will have a point to prove. They did lose last game, and then they lost in the Europa League. Yeah,
also maybe going into England. Yeah, going into England game as well. Maybe he'll want to sort of lay a marker down, as everyone will, who's playing.
Yeah, exactly. So
Lingard's got his first England goal up as well.
Yeah, he got unlucky against Arsenal. So I think he's definitely a player that can be explosive, or even if this game ends 1-0, because Villa are been playing well defensively, but they're still conceding, I feel like, a lot of chances. It's just Martinez has been saving them. So even if it ends 1-0, 2-1, I still see Spurs taking it. And most likely, if Spurs win, it's Kane or Bale right now that are on the end of the goals.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That does. And for a 1 week, I think Sanchez is much better shot than Martinez, right? Even if there weren't any budgetary restrictions, you'd probably go Sanchez, right?
I'd still go Sanchez because like you're really banking on Spurs not scoring, and although he can get save points, I just think you got to take a bit of a punt 1 week, and I think this is the week you can on him as well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, I guess last thing I don't think I mentioned it was Lingard against Arsenal. He's actually in the last 5 game weeks he has I think 19 shots, which is only behind Harry Kane in terms of total number of shots in 5 game weeks. And then I think he's got 2 goals and 3 assists, or 2 goals and 2 assists. So fairly good returns. Nice. Got the extra week rest. So yeah, I'm really liking his output. It definitely seems to be. I know he's not on penalties because he took that one last week, but it was like
why? No, for me the issue is why did he start taking penalties in the first place? Like he wasn't taking them at United, and he's only there on loan as well. Surely they have other people on the list. Wasn't Antonio on the field? But even if he wasn't,
Declan Rice surprisingly.
Declan Rice and him sort of kicked off about it last time as well, and now he took the next. It's just a baffling situation, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to take one again, especially because it was so poorly taken, and just he got lucky with
forcing. There's no upside into forcing a penalty like that, you know. Like you're going to score, and great. Just ask Ross Barkley. I don't know if you remember that Champions League Ross Barkley penalty, where him and Willian were going at it.
Oh yeah.
I think that was a couple of seasons ago in the Champions League, and he missed it as well.
Yeah, I do remember that.
But
yeah, so like I mean, sort of to end on this it is a very tricky that there's only 4 fixtures. But if you have the free hit and you only have 4 players, 5 players, I would take it. But if you do have maybe 6, I wouldn't waste your free hit. Take some hits, but take obviously calculated hits because if you do have your wild card, you can sort of dead end your team, and in the next couple of weeks, wild card and sort of fix it up. And we were talking about this earlier. If you have guys who are getting 0, you take a -4, they get 2. That's only a 2-point risk at the end. So if one of them is explosive or gets a decent return, it can sort of cover those.
And then at least that way you're in with something in the game week as well, right? Because that makes a lot of sense actually. 2 points, like they'll make back the 2 points if they play, and then anything on top of that is upside.
Addition is bonus,
So you're saying about dead ending your team. I love that phrase, by the way. That's very serious. FP. Is that a thing?
I think it's a Twitter term.
Is it? Okay.
Twitter, YouTube, all these guys are using.
Is it a Twitter FPL thing?
I believe so. Yeah,
I've never come across this before. Okay.
And maybe official FPL they use that.
Yeah, I wish you told me this before we went on air. And it sounded like I was like dead end 18. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Wow. So game week 30, by the way. So 29, we've covered the fixtures quite extensively.
Yeah.
Game week 30 and 31. A lot of people will be thinking about wildcarding after this if they dead end their team. Love it. Any thoughts on these fixtures or any ideas on when things could be rescheduled for, or when to aim, like if you have your bench boost?
Yeah, once again, no one knows that they haven't really announced anything in terms of the final rescheduling. But I heard there is the reason they're holding out on a lot of the fixtures is because I think 35 or 36, they're planning on having fans or a small amount of fans back in. So they're trying to target those fixtures for that period, just to maximize the amount of games they can have fans with. So that's potentially when it's going to be. Okay, but yeah, in terms of 32, I believe, or 33 is the week of the Carabao Cup, I guess, final, Capital One Cup, whatever it's called now. So that is the week I'm sort of planning to do a free hit, just because I know right off the bat I'll probably have 5 players out, and those are 5 of my big players. And the fixtures are a lot nicer.
Spurs and City, right, in the final.
Exactly, yeah. Spurs and City, and the fixtures are a lot nicer. So I would prefer to free hit that week, and just sort of not have to worry about taking out City players and trying to figure out what to do there. And then wildcard 31, just because that way I can hopefully prepare for the next coming weeks.
That makes sense.
You hopefully will have a bit better insight, and with my team being on the dead end aspect, I think by that time I'll need to reshuffle things, maybe bring back Salah because they have a easier run in.
Yeah. So just speaking about the Liverpool run in, just to give her an idea, they play Gameweek 30 Arsenal, then Villa, who have been terrible defensively recently, or not as good, then Leeds, then Newcastle, then United, Southampton, Burnley, West Brom, and Palace to end the season. So, those are very good fixtures, to be fair. So it's a good shout to probably look at some Liverpool assets. Jota, maybe at a cut price if you don't want to go for a Salah and you want to cover the bases with other big hitters. But if they even start to show a bit of form, I fancy a double up on Liverpool.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think
Trent got dropped from the England squad as well, so he's going to be fit and ready to go in 30-31.
Yeah, I mean, even for the top 4 race, it's going to be quite interesting because that schedule is by far the easiest amongst all the teams in that bracket. So I wouldn't be surprised. Like, a lot of people have already counted them out, but I wouldn't be surprised with them sort of making a last push for that. And if you have the wild card, it's a sort of a good time to think, okay, Salah is still the top scoring FPL player, at least from midfield. So maybe Bruno's overtaken him, but it's fairly close. So I don't think
he's also in a golden boot race, right, as well. So he's going to want to focus on that as well. We know how he is.
Yeah, exactly. He's pretty selfish.
Yeah, so that could be a shout. That's just one I wanted to point out. But yeah, keep that in mind as we've gone quite long on this, Kazim, I must say. You're just too interesting to speak to, and I need to get your thoughts. And for everyone who's still here, Friday deadline, by the way. We should have probably mentioned that a bit earlier. But yeah, Friday deadline. The Leeds game is tomorrow, right?
Correct. Leeds is tomorrow,
yeah. Okay, so that should be fun. Leeds Fulham. And your captains this week, are you looking past Harry Kane at all, really?
Nah, this is fairly boring. I'm just going Harry Kane, locking it in and not having to think about
so it makes it an easy shout and then you just move on, basically.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're not maybe you don't have Harry Kane, which I would advise against, but I mean, you never know. One week he may not score, but if you don't have Harry Kane yet, then I think like I said, Lingard with his getting a lot of shots in the box, and even Rafinha. I know that could be a tight game, but if you've seen him over the last 3-4 weeks,
man, so good.
He is explosive, yeah.
So good. Okay, no, that's amazing.
Yeah, those would be sort of my big picks.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And anything else? 6:30 deadline, like we said on Friday. Make sure you get your teams locked and loaded. International break after that, so you may not see us for a while. Kazim, thank you so much for coming through. It's been a pleasure to get your thoughts on this.
Yeah.
Anything else to add at all?
And hopefully there'll be another 2 boxes on this screen in 2 weeks.
Yeah, hopefully. Fingers crossed that we get the gang back together. That would be nice. But looking forward to. I need to figure out my transfers tonight, actually, so that should be fun. And I don't know how many hits to take, but now you've sort of convinced me to go hard or go home type situation, because I am dead ending my team.
Dead end is the formula.
There you go. Okay, brilliant. Sounds good, man. Take it easy.